Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, everyone. My name is Simon, and I'm the developer of the Lucky Times techniques, along with Mr. Shashank Kapoor, who has been instrumental in actually sharing them with the public. So I'm going to give you a tutorial, hopefully, and go over hopefully everything you need to know about what the Lucky Times are, how to use them, how not to use them, and what their scope is. All right, so let's jump right into it. So I developed these Lucky Times for myself, first of all, to see if astrology can help us just a little bit, get a little bit of an edge. Now, if you don't know, I'm the author of a book called Gambler's Dharma, which is about sports prediction. I'm also the leader of Crypto Questions Answered, a group on using astrology and applying to astrology to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prediction. And just like anyone in the field of finance or any field, you use whatever tools you have to get an edge. And I found that astrology does, in fact, can in fact give us an edge. And so as I was developing these, people asked me, hey, give me my Lucky Times. I said, well, look, it's very complicated. It takes hours literally to go through, and that's on a daily basis. And they said, well, just do it. I'll pay you. Well, okay, but I can't do it for everybody. So we decided to make an app. And so what you have in front of you is the fruits of a lot of labor, primarily on the developer side, Shashankji, who has created this for you, for the public. Now, like I said, originally this was developed just for me to test to see how astrology works. That's been a big goal of mine, is to show that astrology can work in the real world, in the world of mundane events. I've shown that with sports betting, and of course, no one is 100%, and certainly I'm not. We've done that with cryptocurrencies. Again, no one is 100%, but we've shown that it works more than it doesn't. And this takes us back to the idea that what is astrology useful for, and is astrology a spiritual science or a material science? I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But the point is, we developed a number of Lucky Times. So I'm going to go through what the Lucky Times are, and I'm going to go through what they're not. First of all, well, let me go through and identify what the Lucky Times are. So this will be the first part of the video. So each Lucky Time has a letter A, B, C, D, E, and then a number. The number 1 indicates it's a primary Lucky Time. It's a primary technique, meaning it's a stronger technique. The number 2 is it's a lesser technique. It's a supportive time, right? Let's say you're a farmer and you need rain for your crops. Well, the 1 would indicate a stronger likelihood of rain. A storm is coming. The 2 is like, oh, there's some clouds coming in. It could sprinkle a little bit. Okay. Then we have what are lucky lunar days, and lucky solar days. Now, these are very important, because if you're using the Lucky Times, I would focus on these, and then anything else that comes within that day, you want to stack those techniques, because stacking is a huge part of how to use these Lucky Times. Now, a lot of people, let's get something out of the way, are like, well, what's A1? Or what's D1? Or what's P2? Those letters are put there as ways for you to track which techniques work best for you. If you're an astrologer, we're not going to tell you what A1 is or what P2 is. It took hundreds and hundreds of hours of research to find this. Okay, so if you want to do that research, look at when you have an A1 and see what's happening in the chart. Be my guest. If you're a member of Crypto Questions Answered, you already know these techniques. They're all there in the folder. Okay, so you can figure them out pretty easy. These aren't state secrets. Okay, but we're not going to just if you write us an email, your email will be ignored. Oh, what's this technique? I'm not going to tell you, because A, if we told you and you're not an astrologer, you can't use it. B, if you're an astrologer and you don't have the 15 minutes to actually check to see what the technique could be, then, you know, the information's not for you. This is easily figured out, especially if you're part of Crypto Questions Answered, and my Lucky Times techniques class. If you are not part of that, shoot me an email, and yeah, and we can discuss it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Please don't write emails, what does this technique mean? The reason we put those letters there is so that you can keep track of which lucky times work for you. And that's the key. You have to put in some work with this. So when you see me in videos like this, testing my lucky times live, and you go, holy crap, the moment the lucky time showed up, he won. Whether it's $5 or $50 or $50,000. I haven't won $50,000 yet. That's karma. That's something else we're going to talk about. But I've won in the thousands, and you know, that's nice. But when you see that, what you don't see is what I've done beforehand. Before that live event, I know which techniques work for me. How? By testing them. By testing them, by looking at my own chart as an astrologer and keeping track, keeping notes in a ledger, so that when, let's say it's P2 or A1, whatever technique comes up, next time I'm like, okay, that one worked for me. I'm going to try it now. And let's say it's also a lucky lunar day or a lucky divine week, and it's my good time coming up, then you have more assurance. So when you watch these videos, this is what I've done. And I'm like, okay, a good time is coming up. Let's see if it works. And I do these live. Okay. But, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine. I've also lost before. So yeah, so let's get on with the list here. All right, so you have lucky lunar days, lucky solar days. So the best way to use the lucky times is to find your lucky lunar day or lucky solar day. And then within that day, whenever you have a primary letter, and if on top of it there's a bullseye or a money yoga, then it's very good. That'll increase your chances by about 10%. 10%, that's it? Well, yeah. See, the thing about the lucky times is they will not supersede your karma. Let's say it's your karma, meaning you've committed a crime and you're in jail right now, and you're working on the railroad. But you have a lucky lunar day and a lucky lunar time. Well, during that time, the weather might be particularly nice. Or during that day, you may get assigned a part of the job that's really easy, or you're hitting the earth and it's very soft while everybody around is trying to bust through rock. You got lucky, right? But you're still in jail. You're still working on the railroad. You get it? Your own karma will not be superseded by these lucky times. These lucky times work within the framework of your karma. So if you are born to win the lottery, then these lucky lunar days and bullseyes and so forth will probably key in on when you're most likely to win the lottery. But if it's not in the cards for you to win the lottery, no matter how many lucky days and lunar days and so on you play, you're not going to win. So now, how do you know if it's in the cards for you? Well, have a reading with a qualified astrologer, Western, Vedic, doesn't matter. They will be able to help you with that. Got the cat playing with cat toys here. I don't know if you can hear it. Exactly, and that's the point. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun. This is for play. The cat is not depending on its survival, whether or not it gets the toy out of the thing. It's having fun. And that's what these lucky lunar times and techniques are for. They are not for gambling. They're not financial advice. They are for entertainment. Now, why do I say that? For me, in my mind, they're for research. And that's fun for me. I love finding out, and beating the system. When I go on a site and I play the slots, she's having a lot of fun, and I play the slots, and it's entertaining for me. But at the same time, it can also be very frustrating. Like the cat cannot get that toy that's stuck there. So, yes, this can also be very frustrating. So let's get back to this. So again, why do we do this? We do this for entertainment. We do this for research. And we do this to boost our luck a little bit. So I want to tell you a little story here. A long time ago, Vedic astrologers became so good, so powerful at predicting, that they were able to predict the lives of people who would come in the future. In fact, to this day, you can go to India and get a Nadi leaf reading with an authentic Nadi leaf reader. There are a lot of fakes too. And that Nadi leaf was written hundreds of years ago, meaning that the astrologer who wrote it knew you would come and get this reading sometime in the future. And it can be incredibly accurate, to the point where they even tell your mother and father's name. So astrologers became so good that they became cocky, right? When you become very good or very rich, it's very easy to become cocky, prideful. And they became so prideful that they say, we don't need the gods. I know what's going to happen. And in fact, I can, do rituals and things to prevent the bad stuff and to welcome the good stuff. And so the gods are like, hey, these guys are taking our job. And so they cursed them. And so astrologers were cursed to be, at best, 70% correct. And I think this is a cool story because it illustrates the idea that no matter how much research we do and how hard we try, we can at best really be only about 70% correct. So what my goal has been in developing the Lucky Times is to get as close, to get up to try to touch that 70%. Okay. So that's my sincere goal. So I'm not promising you, and no one can promise you 100% results. This is going to work every time, et cetera, et cetera. If you use these correctly, if you stack a lucky lunar day with, maybe a money yoga and a primary time and a secondary time, that's going to boost your luck 10, 15, maybe even 20%. But nothing is 100%. So if you're going for a job interview, or if you're, writing a letter, or you're signing a contract, doing it during one of these periods will help you get the most out of that. But still, nothing is guaranteed. I hope that makes sense. So let's keep going here. So lucky lunar day, lucky solar day, very important. Those come, the lucky lunar day is about 2-3 times a month. This is 2-3 times a year. Then there's a lucky divine week, which comes once every few years. Crazy month can be either very positive or very negative. Often it's both. Lots of swings up and down. Lucky and unlucky transits. These are basically lucky times as well. And bullseye. Bullseye is for very short time spans. If it's like clicking that email send. I remember, asking Alex Mashinsky to come on our show, and to Crypto Questions Answered. And I wrote the email and I sent it at a bullseye time. And lo and behold, he came on our show. We got very lucky to have him. It's for very short things that just require, boom, it's within a minute. So sending an email, signing a contract, maybe. But again, bullseye works within the bigger context of a lucky lunar day, a primary time. So I hope you're getting this. I'm giving you special insights on how to benefit from the lucky times. Again, none of this is financial advice. This is entertainment. This is astrology. But if you're going to use the lucky times, find a lucky lunar or solar day first. Then within it, find a primary time. Again, what are those? A1, B1, C1, D1, like that. Okay. What are those astrological techniques? Don't email us, please. Okay. They're in the Lucky Times course, Crypto Questions Answered course. They're all there. Then try to stack that with a money yoga if possible. All right. So let's keep going. So that's, I'm giving you the secret how to use this. So that's how, when I go live and play, that's what's happening for me, for my chart. And let me say that these Lucky Times, some of them are dependent on your chart. Everything after D, so E, F, G, H, I, J, those are all dependent on your horoscope. Everything A, B, C, D is dependent on your place, where you're located, but not so much on your horoscope, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, yeah. So stacking those techniques is very important. Bullseye for short term. So what is MM? This is a special money yoga by Michael Mastro. We've developed it at his request for himself and students to use. And it is a special configuration in the horoscope. And when it's present, it creates the MM yoga. The money yoga is a technique from Western astrology. Okay, I'll give you this much. And it's a generally okay time. It gives you a little bit of 5% boost, that if within it, you also have other techniques like a lucky lunar day, a primary time, a bullseye, a lucky transit, etc., it boosts it a little bit. Okay. So none of these techniques by themselves are enough. The bullseye by itself is not enough. Money yoga, not enough. Right? You want to stack as many as possible. And then finally, Tara Balam, Chandra Balam. These are classic Vedic astrology techniques that really are not lucky times. I've included them because people requested them. These are not part of my research. They are generally favorable times to do things based on the Muhurta principles of electional astrology, that say when the moon is in a particular sign from your natal moon, then that is good. That's Chandra Balam. When the moon is in a particular star, nakshatra, from your natal moon, that is Tara Balam. Okay, people requested that, so we've added it. It's not part of my Lucky Times pro forma. It doesn't, but some people have found that when they stack Tara Balam with Chandra Balam and a bullseye and a lucky lunar day, then they get better results. So that's why we included it. Okay. So the thing is, the final thing I'm going to say is, there are no rich astrologers. Now there are some, okay, there also no poor astrologers to my, it's, of course, it's culture and context dependent, but if you're an astrologer, you have a skill that wherever you go, you can be useful to society if you're a good astrologer. So you'll never be poor, in the sense that you'll always have something to eat. You'll always have a place of refuge. Okay, that's what I mean by poor. That you'll never lack for food or for shelter, because you have a skill. You know, the best example is probably a doctor. A doctor will never be poor. Why? Because they have a truly life-enhancing skill. Wherever they go, you drop them anywhere on the planet, they will be useful. People will value their contribution, because everybody gets sick. They get a toothache, an eye ache, a belly ache. You need to see a doctor. Well, similarly, astrologers have this gift. But the flip side is that astrologers work with an art that is inherently spiritual. It applies to material things, but it's inherently spiritual. And so the more material we get with using this art, the more this art will leave you. And so if you're a good astrologer, it's likely that you're not also super wealthy. You're not a billionaire. There are no billionaire astrologers. There are probably very few multimillionaire astrologers. And among those that are there, they've probably done other things to earn their millions. So the idea here is, you know, only trust an astrologer so far, meaning if an astrologer says, oh yes, this is a lucky time, you're going to be very, very lucky, you'll be a millionaire. Well, what I'm trying to say is that astrologers by their profession aren't really meant to be super wealthy. They're certainly meant to have enough, but and for that reason, they may not know what it's like to be a multimillionaire. So if you're depending on lucky times to become a multimillionaire, if you're depending on, this or that, then I would suggest you're putting too much on this. Again, this is ultimately astrology is for self-improvement, to know thyself. This is the highest goal of humanity, is to have the wisdom of self-knowledge. And if astrology can help us with that, great. And if it can help us do that while helping us become, financially stable, even better. But the ultimate aim is self-knowledge, not emolument, right? Not being becoming billionaires necessarily. Now, if it's your karma to be a multimillionaire, yes, astrology can help you, and a good astrologer. In fact, most millionaires and billionaires, many of them, not most, have astrologers on call, because sometimes when you're split 50-50 between making an important decision, having that astrologer say, listen, it's more likely this one is the right one, that can push you, that added 5-10% can go a long way. So here, that 5, 10, 20% boost can be critical. Just as if you're an elite sprinter, right? If I'm a coach, I used to be a physical fitness trainer guy. When you work with elite athletes, they're not asking you to improve their strength by 50% or 20%. They're asking for 1%. Because that 1% makes a difference between first place and no place, not even second or third. 1% improvement is the difference between, if you're sprinting and you're 10, let's say 10 seconds for the 100-meter, that 1% can make the difference. So there, the lucky times could help. There, having a little bit of good advice can help. So all right, that's enough out of me. Hopefully this video has been useful. Please do not email us with any of the questions we've addressed here, that I've addressed. What is a lucky divine week? How do I use a crazy month? That's been covered. And again, we can't cover everything, but my suggestion to you is treat this as entertainment, and try to stack number 2 and number 6 as much as possible, and only use these lucky times when you have these lucky lunar days or solar days. Lucky divine week would be great, and then stack them with the other lesser techniques. And good luck to you. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Namaste.